Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Here we go. Let's do it.
All right, welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. As always, I'm here with Q and T-Gods, but Matt bailed on episode 2 already.
Already.
Tapping out.
Down the drain.
Man. Matt will probably be back next week or whenever we are back. But we are rolling into the second episode. Today we're going to be focusing on the NFL draft, which just occurred about 3 weeks ago or so. Ton of promising rookies that we're going to break down, see which ones could have some potential value for redraft leagues this year, and which ones are better off as dynasty stashes. So let's get right into the rookies, starting at the quarterback position. 2022 was absolutely miserable with that Kenny Pickett draft. Just not many good quarterbacks, but bounced back last year. Incredible campaign from C.J. Stroud, some flashes from Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, and there's still hope that maybe Bryce Young can improve. Maybe.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But the rest of them were all right. So let's get into this season. A ton of first-round action at the quarterback spot, of course, starting with the chosen one, Caleb Williams. First chosen one type of quarterback, I guess you could say, since Trevor Lawrence, which didn't work out too great yet. We'll see.
Still going on.
Still going. But the Bears added Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett into the mix with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. This offense has so much talent. What do you think Caleb Williams' ceiling is this upcoming season?
I don't want him to stink.
Why?
Okay.
Hater.
I do like him, so I don't actually mean that, but
I want him to make Justin Fields look bad.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yes.
Stop hating on my man. They should have given him a chance with this offense. He would have thrived.
He still wouldn't throw the ball.
Yeah,
he
he'd still be running. Stop.
Didn't even
it.
let him
He'd be
throw
like,
the ball.
block for me, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, my weapons.
They didn't even let him throw the ball. Their offense was trash. We'll see what he can do at Pittsburgh. Obviously,
I think Caleb can finish as a top 12 quarterback.
All right.
I think his ceiling is.
I was gonna say like
8.
7. I was gonna say 7.
Yeah. I think
there's too many weapons. There's too many weapons.
Too many weapons.
And they're probably gonna be losing most games. It's the Bears.
Like realistically, if he's decent, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen could both get 1,000 yards, and then he could throw at least like 20 touchdowns. He can run a little bit. The upside is there. It's just a matter of like rookie woes. Is he going to be ready right away? How long is it going to take for him to adjust? But yeah, I think he should be top 12 ranked in general. And I think his ceiling's not top 5. Maybe that's a best case, 5. But I think
he doesn't run.
8. Yeah, he doesn't run enough for sure. But
I bet he finishes over Herbert.
Ooh.
He might. I'm not high on Herbert because
right,
he has
okay.
to throw the ball to. I still love him. In real life, he'll be a good quarterback. They'll win more games, but in fantasy, he might stink a little.
Bro, I don't think they're going to win more games either.
No, they're going to win more games. But
all right.
Speaking of running the ball, did you see Lamar Jackson lost 20 pounds?
Oh my God,
he's probably like a bone.
On Ozempic, probably. No, he's
that's crazy.
He's not going to be able to take a hit.
Yeah, but no, Caleb Williams should be solid. Let's move on to Jaden Daniels, second overall quarterback to the Commanders. Comes in the league with some pretty good weapons himself. Terry McLaurin looking for his 5th consecutive 1,000-yard season. Kind of crazy. Along with Jahan Dotson, another rookie wide receiver, and Luke McCaffrey, and new tight end Zach Ertz, to also pair with second-round tight end Ben Sinnott. Jaden Daniels might actually have a little bit more upside here, just because he is more of that rushing type quarterback. Is he someone you're going to be targeting this season at the QB position?
This is such a bad episode for me because I don't target any rookies ever in redraft leagues.
I definitely do at other positions. Quarterback, usually try to fade a little bit.
But
it's tough.
Daniels could be different just because he can run the ball.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think he has chemistry with the Kingsbury, Mr. Cliff.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty gross in college. 2,000 rushing yards and 22 rushing touchdowns in his last 2 seasons at LSU.
Oh.
So he was throwing to the guys that we're going to talk about in a little bit as well.
Oh, they made him look good.
Neighbors and Brian Thomas. So yeah, obviously he was in a really good situation, but he was able to throw, he was able to run. So I think his ceiling is also probably similar to Caleb Williams, but I think his floor is definitely much lower. Like he could also really struggle right away and not be as NFL ready as Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Drake May, the third overall pick, probably the least sexy of the top 3 quarterbacks taken, given the track record of North Carolina quarterbacks with Mitch Trubisky going early, and Sam Howell, and now
Both
Drake
good.
May. Did you say both good?
Okay. Mitch had his
Mitch?
year. Mitch was good at one point.
I know. I was actually really bought in at Mitch at one point,
Oh my God.
but he was not him.
Okay, he'll
turned
have a
out.
good. That means Drake May will have like a good first year or so, like Sam Howell.
He could.
Probably
But-
not though, because he has no weapons.
Yeah, I am fully fading Drake May. I think he's dynasty stash at best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. His receivers are.
Awful.
His wide receiver 1 is Demario Douglas.
No, it's
Yeah.
Juju.
I'm just saying right now they have it listed that he's the number 1
Oh.
right now.
Oh yeah, he probably is better than Juju.
Juju stinks, dude. Juju was
I
so irrelevant.
What
last
happened?
Year.
He was so good.
He was so good with the Steelers, and he was all right with the Chiefs. He wasn't
Yeah, he had
great
that
though.
period with the Chiefs where he was like back, and then he got concussed and forgot how to play again.
Yeah, no. They did draft a rookie wide receiver in the second round as well, Jalen Polk. He should be pretty
With
decent, but
the quote of a lifetime, he said that he could make people in wheelchairs stand up.
yeah,
Okay.
he did say that.
Yeah, they got
They
Jalen
also
Rager.
added-
He's about to be the number 1.
Ew, stop. They do have KJ Osborne.
They
though.
do have
He's
KJ
all right.
Osborne.
All right,
But-
he had some weeks.
Yeah, no. Drake May, probably not much value this season for redraft.
Not at
So let's
all.
move on to the next 3 quarterbacks taken. Kind of group them all in one because they're all in kind of similar situations. Maybe Michael Penix in the worst because he's backing up Kirk Cousins. JJ McCarthy goes to the Vikings. He's supposed to start as the backup for Sam Darnold. And Bo Nix to the Broncos. He's actually projected to start, but he'll be in a little bit of a competition with the worst quarterback ever, Zach Wilson. So if one of these 3 breaks into the top 15 quarterbacks, which one do you think it could be this season?
JJ.
It's got to be because Penix isn't playing. Like he's not
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, unless
And
Kirk
if,
gets hurt again.
if he played, then I would probably pick him. But I'm
And
going JJ.
Bo Nix has nobody.
He's got Sutton, but Sutton requested a trade. So
Yeah, bro.
And Greg Duluth.
Tim Patrick coming back, but
Marvin
what the hell
Mims.
he's
My
gonna
God, I
look
forgot about Tim Patrick.
They did add Josh Reynolds from the Lions.
They got little Jordan Humphrey.
They had him last year too. He's
Dude.
so relevant.
No, come on. He's his breakout year.
We shall see about that one in year 6.
God.
No, but yeah, obviously none of these 3 guys are gonna have major value. More of dynasty plays. So again, not much there for redraft. But any other quarterbacks you think could have fantasy value this season? Few to name: Spencer Rattler to the Saints, backing up Derek Carr. Jordan Travis to the Jets. Joe Milton also to the Patriots. So they drafted 2 quarterbacks. Interesting there.
Backup.
Devin Leary to the Ravens, and Tua's brother, Talia Tagovailoa, to the Cardinals.
I'm surprised he got no hype. Like I don't know how good he is, but just being Tua's brother.
I mean, he'll
Yeah,
play a
that's-
little bit. We all know why.
Yeah, Kyler's probably going to miss.
Probably better than
We all
Kyler.
know why.
Stop. Not better than Kyler.
He's a
Um,
Tagovailoa. Gotta
Yeah,
be better.
Kyler's better than Tua.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I
Tua
don't know.
stinks. Come on.
I don't
It's the-
know. I don't
Tua
know.
stinks. Come on. You put Kyler on that Dolphins offense, they're winning a playoff game.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. 100%.
Promise they're not.
They easily would have.
All right. I hope after this season they don't sign Tua because I know he's about to get paid, and they trade for Kyler. Just
Please.
swap him.
That would be
Please.
nuts.
I'm with it. Yeah, the only quarterback I think could have some value out of these rookies is probably Spencer Rattler because Derek Carr
Yeah, he fucking stinks.
is very mid, and I wouldn't be shocked if they're ready to kind of just make a change if he looks similar to how he did last season. So, yeah, I think Rattler may be the best, but again, none of these guys are going to have real value, just stashes at best
He
in
was in
Dynasty.
college for like 10 years.
No one you're targeting in redraft. Oh my god, yeah. Rattler he was actually supposed to be like
He
the
had,
next
like, 10
chosen one a few
colleges,
years ago.
yeah.
Yeah, he was not him. All right, let's move on to running back. After last year's hard-hitting running back class, Bijan, Gibbs, and all those guys, this one is a little bit lackluster. No first-round running back this season. Jonathan Brooks was the first off the board in the middle of the second to the Panthers. So they paid Miles Sanders an absolute bag last year, and now they're drafting a running back in the second round.
Crazy.
Do you think Jonathan Brooks is going to have some value this year and maybe just take over the starting role right away?
Dude, I don't. They have a lot of running backs.
Yeah.
They still got Chuba. They still got Booby.
They added Q's favorite running back in the world as well,
Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny.
Oh, he's the starter.
Stop. No, he's not.
Didn't even touch the field with the Eagles.
He did.
Barely. How many did he play in like one game?
Like one play.
Yeah, like one play.
Misused him.
Yeah, no.
I don't think any of these running backs will have any value.
I think they all just hurt each other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly three-headed monster. I think maybe later down the line in the season, again, like we saw, Miles Sanders got a lot of opportunity early and immediately fell off once he got hurt and didn't earn any of that share back. Chuba was getting mixed in with Raheem Blackshear. Like, it was not pretty. I think later down the line, you could see Jonathan Brooks maybe creep into like that 50% snap share if he's playing better than those two. So more of a second half guy, but not anything crazy like Bijan or Gibbs last year. Trey Benson, the next running back off the board, round 3, second pick overall, so almost a second round pick, went to the Cardinals. James Conner, another year older, given his injury history. This could be a good spot for Benson to kind of carve out a role here. Is he someone you might want to target more than Brooks, less than Brooks, or just still not in love with the rookie running backs this year?
Who else do they have? Are we talking about the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else do they have?
They got DJ Dallas.
They have
That's
nobody.
the only other.
DeMarcado.
Michael Carter.
Is DeMarcado guy still on their team?
Yeah,
He is still
DeMarco's still there as well.
I'm still going with James Conner.
Definitely James Conner.
I mean,
touchdown.
James
machine.
Conner's definitely going to get the first chance, first crack there for sure. He had 1,000 yards last year for the first time in his career.
I guess I'll take a chance because they had like a couple running backs after he went down that were relevant. Well, they were all relevant, so
Yeah.
you got to pick the right one.
Yeah, and he's got a 4.3 40, so he's kind of a quicker running back. I think he's pretty good out of the backfield in terms of catching passes, so should at least have somewhat of a role, maybe like that Chase Edmonds role that we saw a couple years ago when he was actually good.
Where is he at?
Dude, who knows at this point? He's bounced around to like 60.
Was he on the Bengals last year, or was he?
I think he was on the Bucks. He
Oh,
re-upped with the Bucks. Yeah, no. Chase Edmonds, not him. But Trey Benson could be. I think he's probably going to have the most value when it comes to like redraft in general, just because of the most opportunity available to him and Brooks. But Brooks a little bit more of a crowded backfield where Benson's got a clear path to become the number 2 there. Outside of those top 2 guys, the rest of these guys were drafted mid to late third round or later, and they all ended up in some kind of crowded backfields. So is there anyone that you like the most out of the guys that were taken? I guess, Q, we can start with you.
Yeah, my guy is more of just a stash. It's going to be Will Shipley, who was drafted to the Eagles, just based off of Saquon's injury history. Hopefully that's not the case here, obviously, but just it's the truth. So he could apparently. I mean, I don't really know much about him, but I've heard good things about him. And obviously, in this with this offensive line, the Eagles have anyone could be good in it. So he could be a good stash. If unfortunately Barkley went down, I don't think that Gainwell would be very. I don't really like him. That's why I don't think he'd be relevant. But
yeah,
is that all they have? Gainwell and Shipley and Saquon?
Yeah, that's going to be the 3. I mean, the other guys are kind of just like late round flyers at best. So
bring back Boston.
Yeah, he's gone as well.
Where's he at?
So sad. The Rams.
Oh,
yeah,
just a rot behind Kyron.
Yeah.
Although Kyron is hurt already, so
hey, come on, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's good. He's good. He's so good.
Got RB1 on the Rams.
So early. But yeah, I do like Will Shipley. I do think he could definitely carve out a role. Do you guys anyone you liked after that round 3 area?
Kind of like Jalen Wright, only because the Dolphins do some crazy things with the running backs. So you never really know who's gonna go dummy there, and Mostert he'd be getting hurt.
He'd be getting hurt. He'd be getting old.
So why not? Whatever. I would keep my eyeballs on him.
Yeah. I would agree there. I think Jalen Wright ended up in a good spot with the Dolphins. I think he could definitely carve out a role. Someone I liked was Marshawn Lloyd, 3rd round, 25th overall out of USC. So he played all season with Caleb Williams. He goes to the Packers, and I think A.J. Dillon is an absolute fraud at this point. I think we've learned that. He is not really good as a number 2. I think at best he's just like goal line situations, but even then he's not like a huge touchdown scorer. So I don't know what A.J. Dillon's good for anymore. It's now year 5.
Playing Farming Simulator.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Fantasy-wise, I just don't think he's going to be that like number 2 here, and he kind of provides similar to value to what like Josh Jacobs already can do. I think Marshawn Lloyd is going to be a little bit better of a pass catcher. He showed a little bit of flashes at USC. They didn't really need him too much. Caleb Williams liked to push the ball down the field a ton. But he's already shown a little bit of flashes early in camp with Jordan Love catching passes out of the backfield. So I think he can carve out a role as the number 2 here. And I think Sneaky could be that backup to Josh Jacobs, where they probably don't want to run him into the ground. It's low-key Josh Jacobs' like 6th season already. So as much as he is younger than Aaron Jones, he has definitely got some miles on him. So I think Marshawn Lloyd's going to be a nice change of pace in that backfield. Ton of other rookie running backs, but all kind of buried on these depth charts. So let's move on to tight end. Brock Bowers, the major story here. He is supposed to be maybe the next Kyle Pitts. I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, not a good thing at all.
But he was an early tight end drafted. We did see Sam Laporta as an early tight end drafted last year be much better than Kyle Pitts was. So what do we think for Brock Bowers? Is he going to be the truth this year with the Raiders, or more like a Pitts situation?
I mean, Michael Mayer was good with the same team.
Why? Why was he okay?
Why'd they take him when Michael Mayer was just fine? I don't get that. But
Michael Mayer wasn't great, man. He did have 27 catches.
Hopefully,
the whole season.
I think he'll be good. They still don't have a quarterback, but hopefully it's Minshew.
Yeah.
Minshew's definitely starting.
Oh, yeah.
I think he is already like taking QB1 reps, but they're saying it's an open competition. So if Aiden O'Connell looks great, then maybe. But they saw what Aiden O'Connell was last year.
Aiden O'Connell is going to come and have his best day.
Yeah.
And then just go downhill from there.
I do think it's going to be beneficial for Bowers in this offense because they have Adams and Myers on the outside, like guys that are going to take away all of the focus from defense, where Bowers might just end up being a target monster for Minshew over the middle. And if it ends up being Aiden O'Connell, just like a safety blanket there for someone who's not as experienced. Obviously, Adams and Myers are going to take up the majority of the target share, so I don't know how many targets he's going to get, but he's definitely going to be drafted in most leagues. I don't know if he's going to be immediately top 10, but I think he'll be a low end.
Probably will be, just because that's what happens with tight ends.
Yeah, he'll be mixed in that low end tight end 1 tier for sure. The next tight end, probably the only other really relevant one early, was Ben Sinnott. We mentioned a little bit earlier he did go to the Commanders, but they also added Ertz this offseason. Is there any value here in this offense for Sinnott?
Probably.
I don't think so.
Probably because Ertz could get hurt, but
leave him alone.
He's a starter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he is listed as their starter there. Obviously, Ertz is not the pinnacle of health at this point in his career, and he's also getting a bit older. So if Ertz is able to stay on the field, I think he'll be involved as a pass catcher only. So that hurts Sinnott a little bit, but Sinnott should definitely be involved. But again, it's so early in rookie tight ends, it's really tough for them to carve out a major role unless they are next level talented. So might be like a wait and see dynasty stash guy more than this year redraft you're targeting him. I think in most rankings he's not inside like the top 20 tight ends. So not a major target this season as of now anyways. Until he starts making some crazy preseason catches.
Yep. Suck everybody.
We'll get the hype. All right, let's move on to wide receiver, the most fun position for rookies because there were a ton taken. Starting with Marvin Harrison Jr., Maserati Marv. Top 5 pick to the Cardinals. Seems poised to be Kyler's number 1 option immediately with Hollywood Brown leaving town and Rondell Moore as well. So what does Marvin Harrison Jr.'s value look like?
So much juice. There's so much juice there. There's no one else on the team. They're probably going to be losing games. Stop. Zay Jones.
That's
Who's
it.
worried about Zay Jones?
Not me. Is what
Worried
I'm
about
saying.
Kyler Murray.
I'm worried about Kyler Murray. That honestly is what I'm worried about most. Is him having a
He
consistent.
can just fall one more to go to the Chargers.
Nope.
He'd probably finish number 1 overall on the season.
He's gonna munch with Kyler. Kyler has produced good wide receivers before. Like DeAndre Hopkins was elite with him. If
He was
you
good
are
no
a
matter
talented
what.
wide receiver, you can't be bad. All right, Hopkins is not good no matter what. He was not good last year. He was mid.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., dude, I think it's going to be a great situation for him and for Kyler. Kyler obviously needed another go-to target, and he's pretty good at force feeding as well. Like, he's not someone that's going to shy away from getting a guy 10 to 12 targets a game. So, I think it's a match made in heaven, especially for me. I'm going to watch every Cardinals game this season. Kyler slinging it to Marvin Harrison Jr.
They have him ranked as wide receiver 13.
Ew.
Behind Brandon Ayuk.
I don't even hate that.
I might
I
put
really
him over
don't
Ayuk
hate
at
that.
that point. Like, I think he's probably borderline top 12.
They have him in tier
That's
3.
a good spot for him.
The 4 people ahead of him are Ayuk, Olave, Pittman, and Adams.
I think that's fair. I think that's kind of where he should be.
Drake London right behind him.
He's gonna munch. There's too much opportunity there for him not to.
So much
immediately get
opportunity.
force-fed. Yeah, like Michael Wilson is not taking targets. Zach Pascal, Greg Dortch.
Hey.
Like, they need Marvin Harrison Jr.
Trey
bad.
McBride.
Trey McBride's definitely gonna be involved as well. That's right. That's a good point there. But still, there's no reason he shouldn't get immediately 20% target share, if not more.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors to the Giants, taken just outside the top 5 at number 6. Arguably up there with MHJ talent-wise. A lot of people were arguing that during draft season. But a way less fantasy-friendly location with the Giants and Daniel Jones at the helm. What do you think his value could be this season?
He's going to be
could
like
also
Wandale.
get fed. He could get fed for sure. There's no one else on that team either.
I know, I'm just scared of the guy feeding him.
Well,
Wandale.
of course, but
He's not a good feeder.
Not
sorry,
really
Drew
good at
Lock's
anything.
gonna come in and start.
Oh, yeah. If Drew Lock is in,
Drew Lock might actually be better for Neighbors.
yeah.
Fantasy-wise, not like obviously winning games-wise.
Or
No, he's
Tommy
still might be better.
DeVito.
God,
Ooh.
no. God, all.
Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, I think it's definitely a worse situation for Neighbors. I think he ends up, because of that, falling into like that wide receiver, low-end wide receiver 2 at best range, if not like flex range.
Yeah.
I think he's got the upside to definitely be like a mid wide receiver 2, just talent-wise. But it just depends on how much he's able to get involved early with the Giants offense and what that offense looks like as a whole. Obviously, they are downgrading from Saquon to Singletary, so they're going to be forced to throw more.
Yeah, Fantasy Pros has him at 26.
Yeah, that's kind of right where I was thinking.
Behind Keenan Allen and in front of Zay Flowers, which I definitely don't agree with.
No, I would definitely take Zay Flowers over
Yeah.
Neighbors this year. I like Neighbors, but that's crazy. But I do think he's kind of around that probably 26 to 30 range.
Definitely.
Rome Odunze to the Bears. Did not mention him earlier, but he does kind of feel like this year's Jackson Smith and Jigba, like where he ended up being drafted. Immediately the clear third option behind Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. Also has to deal with targets from Cole Kmet, and they also added Gerald Everett. DeAndre Swift catching passes. Like there's going to be a lot of mouths to feed in this offense, and Odunze kind of feels like the guy left behind until Keenan Allen eventually retires or leaves. So, is there any value here for Odunze this year? Is he worth drafting or just?
I wouldn't even touch him.
I think perfect comparison is JSN.
Yeah, and I think JSN was honestly a little bit better because I think, as we were seeing, we were starting to see a little bit of the slowdown for Lockett a little bit more than we have for Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was obviously still very solid last year.
Oh, yeah.
So JSN finished wide receiver 48 last year. I wouldn't be shocked if that's like the ceiling area for Odunze, like top 40 at best.
Yeah, that's fair.
And honestly, I think it could be lower. So I'm not going out of my way to scoop.
No.
Unfortunately, because of the situation there. No. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Jags. Taken a bit later in the first 3. But he does land with the Jaguars. Pretty good situation. Obviously, they do have Christian Kirk and added Gabe Davis to take up some of that target share. Do you think Thomas could quickly prove himself to take over maybe even just like that number 2 role there in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I definitely could. He's competing with Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
exactly.
He'll have his one good week.
Yeah, he's already listed as wide receiver 2 on the depth chart as well. So
yeah,
immediately could have some value there. We saw he's obviously kind of feels like the J. Jeff to the Jamar of LSU this past season, where Neighbors was the number 1, but Thomas was also very good as the number 2. So we could see him
As long
also
as
being
Trevor
at
stays
that level
healthy,
of talent.
which is hard to do.
Yeah, it's all right. Mac Jones will come in if he gets hurt.
Oh God, that would be awful.
So
Yikes,
bad.
Big yikes.
Put
Trevor's
me
been
in.
pretty healthy. He should be fine. I think he's missed, 1 game over the first 3 seasons?
Yeah, because he just plays injured.
Yeah,
He does play
just
injured.
keeps playing.
And he's just bad.
Last year, I feel like he was hurt every week, but just kept playing.
Remember they wouldn't get him a wheelchair last year?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
walked back with a broken leg.
That was That was crazy. Yeah. Trev, hopefully he's all right. But yeah, Thomas Jr. could definitely carve out a role. I think I'd rather prefer him over Odunze. Maybe not nearly as high as I would have taken Neighbors, but I do think he could be in that flex range, wide receiver 4 range for sure. Final 3 rookie wide receivers that I want to touch on before we get into just some later round picks. These guys found themselves in a little bit more competition for targets. Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs, but they already added Hollywood, have Rashee Rice and Kelsey. Ricky Purcell to the Niners with Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. And it's Xavier Legette to the Panthers. Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and Mingo. Which of these 3 do you like the most this upcoming season with the landing spot they ended up being dealt?
Can I say none?
Can say none, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like any of them.
I mean, the Chiefs are probably the best just because who knows what Rashee Rice's status is, but
yeah, I would agree with that there as well. I think Xavier Worthy probably has the best shot to kind of carve out a role and just be like a boomer bust flex.
oh yeah, that's all he'll be.
But yeah, it's going to be tough for any of them to make a major role unless Ayuk gets traded or something like he was kind of requesting this offseason. So we'll see about that. But yeah, Legette also could carve out a role pretty quickly. But again, Deontay and Thielen, the vets, probably going to eat up a major target share there.
Definitely.
In rounds 2 and 3, we saw a ton of wide receivers fly off the shelves. Is there anyone that really stood out to you value-wise? T-Gods, let's start with you there.
Sure. Keon Coleman to the Bills.
Juicy.
So, who's scared of Khalil Shakur? Anybody? No.
Nope.
Nope.
Who else is on there? MVS, mid.
Yikes.
KJ Hamler, mid. Who else you got?
We'll
Curtis
figure that.
Samuel. He's alright.
Yeah,
He's
but
alright.
I'd classify him as like a gadget guy, so
No, I know.
not a threat.
No, not a threat. No one's a threat to this man, and Josh Allen is going to be... He loves to throw the ball. We all know that. And they just lost Diggs. They just lost... What's his name? Tarkov
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Bum.
So, yeah, I mean, he's got the opportunity here.
100%. 100% agree there. Keon Coleman, easy value. Q, who do you like there?
So I'm going to take Ladd McConkey, the new Cooper Kupp. Actually, that is his comparison, but it's probably because he's white. But with Keenan Allen and both Mike Williams gone and Gerald Everett, I guess, there aren't many other weapons outside of Arnold Palmer, Josh Palmer. So I feel
me some Palmer this year.
Yeah, so do I. But Ladd could definitely have a nice role on this team with John Harbaugh. And
Yeah.
Jay Herbo.
He could be a target monster if he's able to
Cooper
run
Kupp, because he's white.
easy routes there with Herbert having to throw. But I know Harbaugh loves to run, so we'll see what that.
Yeah, if they got Blake Corum, Herbert probably would never touch the ball just because Corum is
just run it 40 times a game.
Yep.
Just noticed Geek was in the chat earlier. Shout out Geek.
Oh, yeah.
Mill. Appreciate you coming through. But yes, I will wrap it up here for the wide receivers. Troy Franklin, a little bit later than the guys you touched on. Troy Franklin, 4th round, second pick in the 4th to the Broncos. Judy got shipped right out of town. Not that he was a major threat anyways. But I do think this could be a good spot here for Franklin. Rookie quarterback may end up having to throw a ton this season with Bo Nix, and they're not going to be super competitive. I think the Broncos are going to be bad, so they're going to have to throw a lot in general. You can see some instant volume on this offense. Sutton also did request a trade, So maybe Sutton ends up leaving as well. That makes it a even better opportunity for some major volume there. Marvin Mims was really not a major factor last year, so not too scared of him taking up any major target share, more so than a deep bomb. And Troy Franklin was Bo Nix's teammate in college. They hooked up last year for 1,300 plus yards and 14 touchdowns, so instant connection there. Troy Franklin, definitely someone to keep an eye on late in your redraft.
New Burrow Chase?
Drafts this year. Could be. Poor man's Burrow Chase.
Poor's the man.
Yes, definitely. But that's it for talking rookies. Pretty quick there, just kind of surface level stuff. We are not the Dynasty podcast. I did not watch that much college football this past season. So just our thoughts there.